Good morning, Grizz Nation. Welcome to another Grizz Game Day update. The Grizzlies will take on the Atlanta Hawks today at 7 p.m. here at Fedex Forum. So there's no one else that I would rather have on to talk about the Hawks than Lauren Jbara. Thank you for being here. Wild night for you last night.
It was an insane night, an insane first half to a back-to-back. Thank you for having me on. I miss you. I'm so excited to see you tonight at the arena. Good to be here in Memphis. But yeah, wow, last night it was hard to fall asleep after that one. AJ Griffin, the rookie, with his second, not first, second overtime game-winning basket with 0.5 seconds left. Crazy. It was hard to fall asleep last night.
No, wild. If you didn't watch and you're watching from home, the Hawks had a game yesterday in Atlanta. Was it
in Atlanta?
In Atlanta. And it was in absolutely insane overtime. Go watch the end shot that Lauren's talking about by the rookie.
Yeah, AJ Griffin. Yeah, just the poise and confidence that he shows at 19 years old. Played 1 year at Duke last year, Coach K's last year. Now 27 games in, and he already has 2 overtime game-winning buckets as a 19-year-old rookie. It was a wild game, though. 17 lead changes, 13 times tied against the Chicago Bulls. It was crazy, but yeah, glad that they got the win. And now we're on to game number 2 of this back-to-back against the Grizzlies.
And Lauren asked him about that like the second overtime buzzer beater after the game. So like, go watch that interview. It was just wild. The whole thing was just like wild. I don't know how you fell asleep after, because I was even like awake, like ready to like take on the world. But you're here. So let's get to the Memphis game. The Grizzlies extend their lead to, or their win streak, to 6. Protect home court. They're 11-2 at home. Ja, Steven, and Jake are all questionable. And I think you guys have 2 out, right? John Collins and DeJounte Murray are both out.
Yeah.
So let's say, let's say Ja is in, because the whole storyline of Ja and Trey, they're scoring both a little over 27 points per game. Ja a little more efficient this year, but Trey obviously a superstar. What is so exciting about these 2 guys? They won't go head to head necessarily, but like the star power of this game is crazy.
Yeah, I think that's what people look forward to in the NBA, is watching 2 all-stars go up against each other, right? And Trey's been doing this thing where he gets his teammates involved early. He's passing a lot in the first half. And then in the second half, he's kind of saving his best for last and saving his scoring for last. So I think yesterday night, he had like 4 or 6 points at halftime. He ends the game with 19 points. He has 14 assists, which ties the season high at this point. So he was able to get guys involved early. And I just think that matchup between Ja and Trey, they're both fast-paced players. They're both sharpshooters. They both can carve teams up on the inside, but also shoot from the perimeter on the outside. Both get their teammates involved early. I just think it's such a fun matchup to be able to watch. And fingers crossed we get to watch it tonight. I hope Ja plays, because to be the best, you want to beat the best, right? Memphis right now one of the top teams in the Western Conference. And so I think the Atlanta Hawks pretty fired up for this, especially coming off of last night's overtime crazy win. They have that energy, that confidence right now, snapping a 3-game losing skid.
Okay, so not to bring up last night again, because I am going to talk about the Grizzlies more. But you just said Trey had a season high in assists. All I was thinking, or like tied a season high, all I was thinking about when you said that is he would have broken it if he would have made that pass from out of bounds the last time.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah, in overtime, Trey was inbounding the ball with 0.5 seconds left in overtime. Hawks were down 1. And Vucevic was right on him. I mean, this is a 7-foot guy.
Yeah.
Arm length makes him almost, 8 feet tall, 9 feet tall. It's just crazy. So they decided to put Jalen Johnson on the inbound. He found AJ Griffin with 0.5 seconds left. And AJ jumped up, turned, shot without his feet even hitting the ground. Just the body control to even be able to do that. But yeah, Trey, 14 assists yesterday, 14 dams, as we like to say, tied his season high. Looking forward to some more of that again tonight.
Yeah, and what the Grizzlies, maybe not the Grizzlies, but Grizz Nation, fans, they love a good villain. And you know that Trey feeds off the hate that he gets. It's love hate, but it's still hate. And I think to have that matchup tonight will be really fun. The other one that I'm excited about is that 4 position, because the Grizzlies play Jaren and Steven. So they have a lot of size advantage a lot of the time. But this is maybe one of the times where it's not necessarily an advantage. And I think the Jaren DeAndre Hunter matchup is going to be one of the key matchups. Whichever one of those guys plays well tonight, I think could, help their team get the win.
Absolutely. And DeAndre Hunter played his first game yesterday after missing the last 4 with that right hip flexor strain. And he came back out. He had 16 points. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists. On the defensive side, he had a steal. He had a block, I think, as well. No, he didn't have a block yesterday, but he had a steal. He played really, really well on the defensive side, shutting down some of the Bulls' best players. And I just think that, this is a guy, he's well rested right now. He's had like a week off with that right hip flexor strain. He missed a few games. Now he's back for one. He's feeling fired up as well. We just saw like what he added to the defensive side yesterday against the Chicago Bulls. I feel like that's going to be a really, really good matchup tonight. I know a few guys in the Hawks had a few bumps and bruises, so we'll see what that injury report is today. Trey got bumped up and beat up pretty hard. He was like on the ground 3 different times in the game yesterday. So we'll see the status of all of those guys, but DeAndre Hunter definitely a huge addition, especially on the offensive side of the floor, and missing 2 starters in John Collins and DeJounte Murray. It was great to have him back in the lineup. Looking forward to seeing him play again tonight.
Plus, both these teams are top 10 in rebounding. So having another big guy out there against a good rebounding team is going to be key for the Hawks. The last thing that I just thought of as you were talking about how Trey, spaces out how he scores in the game, I find that interesting that he's, facilitating, getting everyone involved at the beginning and then taking it on himself more in the second half. The Grizzlies are 10-4 this season, Lauren, when they score 30 or more points in the first quarter. So it's interesting.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be interesting to see how the Grizzlies try and score a ton in the first quarter and then kind of like ride that wave, where it feels like it might be the opposite for Trey, but not necessarily the Hawks, but like for Trey to facilitate more. I think is the first quarter going to be the quarter, or is it like, should we wait until the fourth?
I think the first quarter is going to be important to see who sets the pace, right? Because the Hawks like to play a fast pace. The Grizzlies like to play a fast pace. It's almost like who is going to make the other team play at their tempo and their pace. And I think that's really important in the first quarter. And then obviously the stretch run and into the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter is a time when the Hawks have been struggling a little bit over the last couple of games. They've had leads, they've blown their leads. So it's just finishing out those games. Yeah, so it's just finishing out those games. So the first quarter, important for setting the pace. Fourth quarter, important to just get it done. Hold on to a lead if you have it. And if you don't, try to make up that deficit and get the win. So I think that fourth quarter is going to be important. But first, for sure, in terms of setting the pace and making the other team play the tempo that you want to play.
Yeah, the Grizzlies have been letting teams kind of like stick around. They had Detroit. They've been letting them stick around and not like, even I actually had an interview with Dylan after the game in our last game where we won, and he said the same thing. He said we got away from what we were doing in the first half, and that's why the game was so close at the end of it. So I think these two teams are more similar than I might have even thought before I talked to you. And I'm so excited. This is the only time the Hawks are here this season. So I hope Monday night basketball in Memphis. I'm so ready.
Monday, I know. Forget about Monday night football. We got Monday night basketball in Memphis. Everyone make sure to tune in. It's going to be an exciting, fun, adrenaline pinching matchup. Cannot even wait.
Heck, yeah. 7:00 tip if you're coming in. Make sure you get here early, stay safe, stay warm, stay dry. It looks like it might rain out there maybe. And if you're tuning in at home, you can watch it on Bally Sports and the Bally Sports Plus app. Lauren, again, thank you so much. And I cannot wait to see you soon.
Thank you. Cheers. Have a great one.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We need coffee.